Well, let's discuss this now with the Independent Development Trust, Phasha Makgolane, and that's the organization that was the implementing agent for this particular contract. Mr. Makgolane, good evening to you, and thank you very much for your time. This has truly been an embarrassing moment for you. How do you explain what has happened here? Because this contract now is effectively cancelled.
Thank you, Tolly, and good evening to the viewers. I wouldn't describe the situation as embarrassing, Tolly. Remember, IDT is a state-owned entity, and in the process, we have to follow all the prescripts of the law, which we are guided by your Public Finance Management Act, your procurement regulation that come through to National Treasury. So we've been on record as IDT management to say we followed the latter of the procurement process when the bid went out and when we received the bid. So because of the some of the media reports that then emanated, you remember a few weeks when I was here, I said to you, we've then said, let's go and look at the veracity of some of the bid documents that were submitted to us. And that process is ongoing to be concluded before the end of this week. Yeah. So it is not really embarrassing. We are an organization that has a very good track record in terms of implementing large-scale projects we've done in the last 20, 30 years.
All right. I'm going to pick your brain, therefore, if you're saying that you have a good track record, because there are some things that just do not add up. So let's begin with you saying that you followed procedure in as far as this contract is concerned. The last time you spoke to us, you spoke about the 216 million rand budget for the oxygen plants, which you said came in the year 2017, when in fact this was actually formulated in an implementation plan that was done in August of 2022. Do you dispute that?
No. Maybe let me clarify that. I think there was an error in terms of the year. What happens was in 2019, when we did the estimation, it was 256 million, but this was only for 15 hospitals. And then the Global Fund came in with more money. So then the project then had to go to about 55 hospitals. So this now necessitated that the budget will obviously increase, because now there was extra cash that came from Global Fund. I think the issue of the year was just an error of on our side. I mean, we accept that one. And yeah, the correct year was 2019 when we did the first initial estimates.
So the 216 million, how many hospitals had been budgeted for that amount?
That was meant to be 15 hospitals on the initial one in 2019.
And you are confident about the 15 hospitals because upon perusal of this information, it appears that the August 2022 implementation plan was that this 216 million would have been budgeted for 60, that's 60 hospitals.
Yes, that was the fact. But remember what happened, Tolly, that plan did not add your maintenance, which will have to go on for like 36 months. It did not add your management fee, which will be for the Independent Development Trust, and also it did not add around issues around maybe your consultants who must then come in to certify some of this work. And also then that, of course, then necessitated that the budget increases so that we can then cover 55 hospitals.
And so this then ultimately leads to this balloon of 836 million. Am I correct?
Yes, you are correct.
Let's talk about the actual contractor here. Was there a real contractor, or was it, as the Daily Maverick and Amapungane term it, a quote-unquote ghost contractor? Was this a scam?
Look, Tolly, it has become a bit of a concern for us as the IDT that some sections of the media, especially your Daily Maverick, will come out and say a contractor that was registered in 2010 that has been doing work since then, and which is on 8ME on CIDB, is a ghost company. I think that or not in its own is untruth. I mean, we've got the central supplier database documents which indicates that they are in business. So I think it's a bit of disingenuous from Daily Maverick to come out and say it's a ghost company. And I think it also becomes a bit of a concern that they were not able to come to us to verify some of the information. Yeah. Even though, of course, we've been answering some of their questions, we've given them the facts, they continue to call it a ghost company. But of course, I'm not here to defend Balkan, but we just need to state the fact, to say you can't come and say it's a ghost company when this company has been in existence since 2010.
So let's deal with the facts then, Mr. Makgolane, because you've said that the IDT has operated above board in its
yes.
in conducting its affairs. Let me take you to February of this year. National Treasury launched a forensic probe into quote-unquote corruption, mismanagement at the IDT. This related to a contract. This was into a government social infrastructure development trust. These are yourselves. And it had to do essentially with the head office lease. And this was entered into irregularly with some politically connected company. As a result of this, that company is now taking you to court, claiming that 8 million rand in rent has not been paid. How do you explain that if you have been running things above board?
No, firstly, Tolly, let me put that into perspective. The issue around the lease. We currently occupying a building that is owned by the IDT. We're not renting there. Mm-hmm. So over time, I mean, the building has deteriorated in terms of adhering to some of the OHS, and we've had evaluators who did actually engineers, structural engineer who did the reports to indicate that the structure is quite a risk. So there was a board decision to say if it is a risk to have employees in this organization, then it's imperative that we get a suitable accommodation for the colleagues that works in the national office, so that they can go and work. So a tender was issued, and indeed there was responses to the tender, and eventually two bidders went to the last stages of appointment. So we then appointed, I think it's a company it's a company called Mwepa Tuesday. They were appointed to provide that lease. So I don't think there was no corruption there. There was no favor. There was, and in actual fact, I think for issue around the politically connected person, I think it was neither here nor there for us. So
okay, but
what was important was what is in front of us in the bid document, what they can offer, the size of the building that we're looking for.
But according to this report by News 24, which reported on this, the IDT did concede that your executives did not have the authority to sign this contract. But I'm out of time. I don't have enough time to probe this with you. But here is where we're going to leave the conversation, Mr. Makgolane. The Minister of Health, who was talking to me a little earlier, says that relating to the oxygen tender, there was a lot of toing and froing between yourselves and your principal. That's the Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure, to a point where he says this matter, quote unquote, looked as though it would end up in court. As a result, he says that he actually is in full support of the SIU investigating this particular deal. So you can't tell us that you have been operating above board. All the signs are saying they're flashing red.
Okay, so let me come in there. Remember that a few weeks back when I was here, we as the IDT, we put it on record that we welcome any investigation that the Hawks are doing. We've cooperated with the Hawks in terms of their investigation. We've provided them with any documents that they required so that they can continue with their investigation. And then I think that's what is happening. They are still doing the investigation. So I think as it is now, we now will not know what the conclusion will be once the Hawks have concluded their investigation. And I think when it comes to the Minister of Public Works, of course, he is the executive authority of the IDT. And as the executive authority, he has the right to ask for whatever information that requires. And as an entity led by a board and executive management, we have submitted all the information that the minister required.
All right, but safe to say that your relations between the IDT and the minister, they are good relations.
Can you repeat that? I missed the last part.
I'm saying your relationship with the Minister of Public Works, how would you describe that? Is it a good working relationship?
Look, the Minister of Public Works is the executive authority of the IDT, and as such, we report to him. The relationship between us and him is something that the board is dealing with, because I think what we can put forward is we're waiting to have a one-on-one with the minister so that we're able to abreast him in terms of the work of the IDT. I understand, I mean, since he took office in July, he has been busy. So he hasn't had time to meet with the IDT. Right. So we're still waiting for an opportune time where the organization will then be able to meet with the minister and take him through the work of the entity.
Phasha Makgolane, thank you very much for your time. Speaks for the Independent Development Trust.